Hello to all of you watching us live or on demand from the official Cartridge Club YouTube channel. To those unaware of who the Cartridge Club is, we are a community of gamers, collectors, and video game enthusiasts of all ages and generations. As a community, we regularly come together to discuss the latest video games, both modern and retro, and pretty much anything else you could imagine. In addition, we are the home to 2 unique Game of the Month podcasts, and our community members will play together over the span of a month, with a few coming together to record a podcast at the end of the month, sort of along the lines of a book club, but for video games. Today, actually this month, we are playing Axiom Verge and The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and we continue to seek out excellent examples of great games that we can play in future selections. You can check out what games are ahead on our forums over at cartridgeclub.org or on our Discord and join in the conversation. Today, the E3 press conference for SquareEnix. And joining us today, we have our panel of Ryan, also known as It's Rocket Sauce.
Hello.
One of the current hosts of the Cartridge Club Prime podcast and co-founder of the club, P1.
Hello.
Host of the YouTube channel Frantic Society and the Frantic Thoughts podcast, we have Josh.
What's going on?
And we have author and co-host of the Masters of Unlocking podcast, we have Caleb J. Ross.
Hello.
Thank you all for being here today. I'm Musty Hobbit, and I'm the host of the YouTube channel Second Breakfast, and we have a bunch in store for you over the remainder of this day and tomorrow, and we'll be breaking down all of the biggest news from each of the E3 press conferences. And we realize you could be watching any number of outlets for their recap of these shows, but we thank you for joining us to let us break it all down for you. So let's get started with the first presentation for this Monday, and that was the SquareEnix presentation. And they started off with we went straight into Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Want to see who wants to start off with this. We got a gameplay demo, which was more than we got yesterday. We had seen some at Xbox. But who's excited about Shadow of the Tomb Raider after seeing this additional gameplay sort of walkthrough? Let's hear from...
Don't make me go first.
I want somebody else to go first. Caleb, Josh, one of you.
I'll go first only because I want there to be some tension between myself and P1. So I loved it. I think it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. That's it.
You being serious?
No, not at all. I haven't played any of the other ones. I'm not a stealth gamer. It did not look good to me, but yeah.
As a fan of stealth games in Metal Gear, this looks like a really poor Metal Gear cross with Uncharted. It looked really terrible to me. Like, looked okay, I guess. But I've already played this twice in the other 2 games, so it didn't look too like insane. It's just more of the same thing. So
now I will say that I don't think it looked bad, but I'm not excited for this game. I liked the first game a lot in the series. The last one, not so much. I got bored with it. Granted, I finished it, but I found it a real struggle to get through. I just kind of feel as if this is starting to get a little too much of the Assassin's Creed, vibe for it, where they're starting to like come out a little faster now. Like every 2 years, it seems like we're starting to get another Lara Croft game, and this one isn't even made by. Well, maybe it's co-made by Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah, I think it's a co-production. Crystal Dynamics is overseeing it, maybe, but Eidos Montreal is, I think, taking lead on it. Because they're still busy. They're doing some other stuff with some other devs as well. But
it just seemed totally with me. This was like, I didn't think I needed another game like right away. So it's kind of one of those ones where I'm like, ugh, this is definitely not going to be a day one pickup for me.
Yeah, I think that to me visually it looks nice. I think the hang up that I have, and maybe that others have, is that the gameplay doesn't seem to have evolved a whole lot. P1, where are you at on this? Are you kind of in that boat, or?
I don't think this game is for me. Third person. Okay, that's not how stealth works, people. In real life, that's not how stealth works. You can't just crouch in the tall grass and just expect not to be seen by people 15 feet away, especially when you're shooting projectiles at them. She shot that one guy in the wrist, and he couldn't tell what fucking direction it came from. If the arrow's pointing this way, dude, don't run forward. Like, come on.
Well, now that was a fear arrow.
Oh,
so
you're right.
which caused him to aggro everybody else, and then
it was dipped in the blood of the jaguar because she has used her animal powers. What the fuck? So I liked the first Tomb Raider because it was sort of grounded in reality. The first remake, it felt like it was a reboot that was sort of like how Chris Nolan's Batman was like, here's Batman, but sort of realistic if billionaires cared about people. Whereas this was, and the first Tomb Raider was like that, and this is like she's Brave Star all of a sudden. She's absorbing the power of animals, the strength of a bear, the speed of a cheetah, the eyes of the hawk, and if you're gonna go to the trouble of making a stealth game, then when Trevor and Steve are having a conversation, and then Steve gets shot dead through the throat seconds after your conversation, Trevor shouldn't turn around and go, "There's a body. Looks recent." Like. Scream like that's like even if you weren't just having a conversation with him, you still know this guy. I work every day with 200 people. I'm sure there's not probably around 200 people on this island of this terrorist group Trinity, which is another problem I have. I'm not going to talk about that. You know this guy's name. You're not going to turn around and be like, oh look, anyway.
How much do you think that they had to bridge? Because this is supposed to lead up to the Tomb Raider that we knew back in the 90s, right? And so, how much do you think was them having to accelerate where they left off in Rise of the Tomb Raider and to meet this one? Like they kind of have to accelerate it a little bit, right, to get to that point.
But she never had. I mean, even in the original ones, she didn't have like weird superpowers.
Well,
right?
And also they didn't have. I don't think so. And she didn't have. And they didn't have enough graphical fidelity nor processing power to render multiple people. So it's not even that they have like this stealth mechanic, I guess, to really bring up. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, you can smear mud on yourself now. So yeah,
sure, I get that. Cool. If Schwarzenegger could do it to beat the Predator, she can do it to beat people. I don't know. We saw this game yesterday. We've been hearing about it for months now. It felt like a poor way to start the show, especially such an extended portion of gameplay of her crouching. Like you're starting off your E3 presentation with 6 minutes of crouch walking. Yeah, it set a poor tone for me. It definitely helped frame the shit sandwich that was the Square Enix show.
Yeah, we'll get to all that. Yeah, and so they capped off the Shadow of the Tomb Raider coverage with the same trailer, or at least a portion, maybe the second half of the same trailer we saw yesterday at the Xbox showcase. And so kind of lukewarm on all of it. If you liked the previous two games, you'll probably like this one. It didn't do much for, I think, any of us. And yeah, like you said, it set a weird tone for what they were trying to get to here. Because you then flow immediately into a very niche title right after this. So if you weren't keen on Shadow of the Tomb Raider and you don't like MMOs, going right into Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood and the Under the Moonlight patch, which is what they revealed. I didn't get a feel for what that was at all. Any of you keen on? None of you are really in on MMOs at this point. Was there, aside from the mention at the end, which I totally thought that was Orin for a second, but I didn't find anything interesting. Monster Hunter World, if you're into that, there's going to be some kind of crossover here. You guys' silence makes me think that there's not a whole lot to talk about here. So we can move on if that's the case. The next was another thing that we saw yesterday, and we were, I think, nervous in the moment that we were going to get more of the same with them talking about the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit, and then they flowed into a little bit more with some dev talk. Ryan, what did you find on this that that you got that maybe you didn't get yesterday?
I guess it's just a little bit more clarity of it. This is, I guess, kind of a prequel maybe to Life is Strange 2. At least they said this is like a beginning chapter of it. I think is what the creators of Donut were saying there. So it's, I mean, it had my interest already, but the fact that it's, I guess the full experience is free. I'll take it. I'll play it out. See what it is. It's maybe just one episode, but we'll see what it is. If it's free and it's good, right? Win for everybody.
Yeah. And it sounds like they were saying that there's going to be links to the story for 2, which kind of validates the 2. Did we know 2 was coming already?
I think they said something like a year ago, and that's before the announcement of Before the Storm. So I was hoping that Before the Storm wasn't Life is Strange 2, if you will. So this one at least clarifies for sure that there is going to be a Life is Strange 2, and it's going to be made by Donut. So
there you go. So we got some good news there. This was kind of, there's some links to the character in the story of that. But again, we kind of talked about, if you want to hear our thoughts on the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit when it was revealed to us, check out the Xbox discussion that we had yesterday. It was fairly early in the show. Next up was a game that was revealed. I don't know if it was revealed to us, but it's out already, as I understand, in Japan, and that's Dragon Quest XI: Echoes of an Elusive Age. Josh, what are your thoughts on this? Did this hit any tick marks for you on this one?
Well, I put in here in the notes that it's the same trailer. It's the Japanese trailer, just with English voice acting. It really is, because I was pulling some footage for a video, and it was the exact same trailer. So
this trailer exists already.
Yeah, it already existed already, and with the Japanese voices and the Japanese text and everything, they just switched it up. And then I think they added a couple more clips, but it's pretty much exactly the same trailer with just English voice acting. But the game itself looks pretty fun. Is this game turn-based or is it active time? I don't even know. I can tell from the trailer. I'm not sure.
That's good. That's something that a trailer should kind of give you a hint to. I think. I mean. Who's played 10?
None of us. It's an MMO. Only in Japan. and 9's on the DS. So this did look action combat. I haven't watched any gameplay from the Japanese version, but this looks like it's an action RPG and not a turn-based RPG, which, if that is the case, is a massive change for the Dragon Quest franchise. A big takeaway from this for me was there was zero mention of this game coming to Switch. This had been touted as coming to Switch, 3DS, and PS4. And I know that Square Enix had made an announcement recently about possibly dropping the 3DS version. But I hadn't heard anything about them dropping the Switch version. But according to this trailer, it wasn't even mentioned. There wasn't even a hint of Switch. So I wonder if it's been officially removed from that platform, which is kind of a bummer if it is. But it's a game that's already out, and the trailer looks good, but I felt like they were trying to put like an American Lord of the Rings spin with her dialogue, and then it was a stark contrast to the Dragon Quest music. Like,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you feel deflated that this wasn't announced for Switch, at least at this presser?
No, I was probably going to get it for PS4 anyway. I do think that I think if it's not coming to Switch, I think that's a bummer. But I likely would have picked this up for PS4 just because I know it'll probably run better there. But I don't know. I don't think this needed to be there. This could have been a pre E3, announcement. Here's our release date.
And here's the collector's edition, right? Like that seemed to be the biggest thing, was like, here's this collector's edition that PS4 is getting. And there was no Nintendo mention anywhere on that. Not even in the fine print down at the bottom. So
it looks like back in 2015, there's an article that talks about this game being turn-based. So just throwing that out there. The Dragon Quest 11.
Well, that's good then that it hasn't changed. Because that is the bread. Dragon Quest is good. Dragon Quest is good for the JRPG fans, like it because it is consistent. Final Fantasy tries to reinvent itself with every new iteration, but Dragon Quest has been consistently, you're going to get the same experience almost every time. So that's good.
Okay. Well, and so that is coming September 4th at the beginning of what is already a crowded month. But it's a different, there's not a lot of JRPGs coming out in in September there. So I think this, to those who've been waiting for this, is, hey, it's coming. It may not be on the platform that you wanted, but so be it. Speaking of platforms that people don't want, the next game revealed was some additional mobile content for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius cross Dragon Quest. So they're bringing some Dragon Quest content into the mobile game. I played that a little bit, and maybe a year or two ago, like very early in it, and it was just a tapper for me. I didn't find that game overly interesting, but it's great that they continue to support it with more content. When you get additional, when you can harness the power of your multiple, since you are two companies, or you were two companies, why not mash them together if it can fit within the world? So that's great. New stuff is always good. And the next game that they revealed was something new. We did get a cinematic trailer for a game, and I had written down, I wasn't sure what this was. It seemed like they were going through this timeline of all of these battles and sort of major world events, and then they threw a title out there called Babylon's Fall. And P1, was this the first moment that there was something actually interesting for you in this one?
Yeah, this was the first moment that this is the good part of the shit sandwich that I felt was this presentation. This and then a little bit of the next. Platinum's good, so you can expect frenetic action or frantic action and just high tempo gameplay, because that's what they do. That's what they excel at. Dark fantasy. I like some mention of an oversoul and a deep world history coming up in it. So I'm excited to see what comes out of this. It's I know Platinum had been working on their own game. I don't believe this is it, because I think they wanted to publish their own game, but it is also in a fantasy setting. So I don't know if they're tied or not. But this should be good. Platinum does. If you like Platinum games, I imagine it will be more of the same. They very rarely miss the mark. Platinum and SquareEnix is a combination of two companies that really you can't go wrong with. Just look at Nier Automata.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Caleb, how about you on Babylon's Fall?
Yeah, that's I think P1 kind of nailed it. It's Platinum Games is the reason why it was interesting to me, and also probably because the rest of the presentation was so lackluster. This was sort of a shining beacon. If this were placed in the middle of, if this were placed in the middle of the Bethesda conference, for example, like, it probably wouldn't have interested me as much. The Platinum name is still definitely something that I'll follow no matter what. So I'm very excited about that. It is kind of a bummer, PS4 Steam release only. So for Xbox and Switch owners, unfortunately, that's not good. But if Nier Automata has anything to say, it could be transitioning over to Xbox at some point in the future anyway. So I'm excited. Don't really know what it's so much about. I mean, a lot of religious iconography. It looks like it's probably going to be some sort of like apocalyptic scenario kind of thing. So
there was kind of a like extinction event almost that they referred to, or like when the underworld comes.
Mm-hmm. So it should be cool.
Yeah. Ryan, did you have some thoughts here too?
I guess the only thing is, at first I think I wasn't interested in the game, and then I saw whatever, like a little bit of the quick, fast action, which made me think, hey, is this a Platinum game? And then you see the Platinum rolls up, and then I'm like, okay, now I just need to see a little bit more of this, but it has my interest. So it's one of those things, like, it's going to be reiterated here. Just once you see Platinum, you got my attention.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and so Platinum seems to be a thing that a lot of club members like. And again, we got some additional clarity. Yesterday, they had announced that Nier Automata Become as Gods Edition was coming to Xbox One in just a couple weeks. And we got indication that the DLC is all in there. Ryan, again, we talked with you about it yesterday. This is pretty exciting for you, yes?
Well, I'm glad people can play it, but the DLC, just let people know, it's just outfits. It's not like a story or anything additional. It's just from my understanding, that's the only DLC that has come from the game has been like clothes. So if you want all your outfits, I guess, unlocked and not have to pay for it, you can buy the Xbox version.
There you go. Okay. Well, yeah, and still, Xbox owners, this will be your first opportunity if you have not had a chance to play it. It comes highly recommended from a number of us, so I would definitely encourage you to pick it up. Let Platinum know this is a good move if you don't already have it, right?
And really quick on the Babylon's Fall conversation, I don't think I was just looking it up, and the game that I think Platinum was developing and possibly publishing on their own might have been World of Demons. I don't know if you guys remember that one. I think it was briefly mentioned in E3 last year.
Yeah, and it's a portable only game, isn't it? Or a mobile only game, I think.
Oh, is it? I did not know. I didn't realize that.
I think so.
Well,
let's get that girl with the blue hair and the white dress and the sword. I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Yep.
I watched gameplay of it.
Yep. Has a lot of has a Okami kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
So
interesting. Well, you've got to love titles that have a really unique kind of approach to an art style, which is what the next title was. We already knew that this title was coming. It's going to be here in just over a month, and that's Octopath Traveler. We got a nice cinematic with a little bit of gameplay peppered in there. P1, I know you are very excited for Octopath Traveler, so I want to let you talk about this one.
Yeah, this was the perfect. Everybody already knows about this game. Nintendo's talked about it. Square has talked about it. It's been on every major news site. We know it's coming. People have it pre-ordered. The collector's edition has a pop-up book. This was perfect. It was a quick, hey, just as a reminder, next month, here's what's coming. Little graphic. That this was the perfect way to inject something like this into their show. It didn't take too long. I've actually talked longer now than this trailer was, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reiterated that here's your 8 different characters, and they each have a different class, but they showed some of the walking across the town, and
but it was quick. It was this is coming. Don't forget. Boom, here you go. Moving on. It was the perfect way to put that in there. And I just saw a tweet from Raiho Magnifico. Dragon Quest XI is still coming to Switch. However, they have said it will be much later.
Later. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm surprised they didn't even put it in there then, right? To at least mention that it's coming, but maybe because they had the date, they didn't want to dissociate the two. Interesting.
Well, they probably don't want holdouts either. I mean, if you know it's coming for the Switch eventually, then
fair.
those day one sales might be
fair.
In jeopardy.
Because everything has to be on the Switch forever.
Only if you just the good stuff.
Okay, sure. Just the good stuff. Just Cause 4 was the next one that came up. Hey, I listen to Masters of Unlocking. I think I'm on par right now.
You are doing quite well. You're hired.
So next, we got Just Cause 4. It was, again, Walmart Canada leak. This got shown yesterday with a 2-minute trailer during the Xbox showcase, and they decided to do an actual kind of gameplay demo narrated with some broad generalized gameplay features. And so, Josh, what did you think about this? We were talking about this yesterday a little bit.
Yeah, like I said this yesterday, but I played Just Cause 3, and one of the things that I didn't like about Just Cause 3 was the performance. It was really laggy. And the whole point of this game is you want to explode the biggest thing ever, right? Or make the biggest crazy thing happen. And half the time when you do that, it would go below 20 frames per second, and it's like stuttering and stuff. That's at least my experience with the game. Hearing that it's on a brand new engine, and then they have these new, weather effects and all this stuff, and it looks fun. And the biggest hook, I guess, it's a grapple hook, and you hook things.
Hook, I like it.
Yeah, you hook things together, and you can basically zip them together, and it looked like you had at least 5 or 6 you can link together now, so you can do crazy things like pick up a motorbike with a helicopter and drive the motorbike off the helicopter, craziest thing you can think of. And that's pretty much the point of the game. For me, it's more of a bargain bin game. I would wait till it's like $20 or whatever, but it still looks like a lot of fun, just stupid fun. And that's what you want from that. So, yeah.
Harkening back to a P1 sense of realism here, I have to make mention of the fact that the weather systems, while they sound cool, in order for them to have any sort of impact on the game mechanics themselves and for them to be fun, means that they would have to happen often enough. And I can't imagine a world in which there are tornadoes like every, few days, few weeks or whatever, destroying everything, and people are just cool with that. So
it's called the Midwest.
Well, yeah, I mean, I live in Kansas City, but at the same time, like, we have tornadoes, if someone said, I don't know. Yeah. It just seems strange that there's going to be this much crazy weather, enough to make an impact on the game itself. And yeah.
The tone of the series has always been. You've ever watched Fast and the Furious? Probably not, but it's basically like, okay, you think we can dial it up to 11? Oh, we're going to dial it up to 15. That's pretty much the point of the game, to have these crazy things happen all the time. So tornadoes, whatever. I mean, they're not going for realism at all in this game. So,
and that's okay. I mean, not everything can be overly realistic. Now, the next trailer that we got started off with live video. And this was for a game I've never heard of called The Quiet Man. Caleb, this piqued your interest? Or?
It did pique my interest. And again, it may just be context. This was one of the few unique moments throughout this presentation, but it piqued my interest in that it felt like they were trying to take some sort of unique angle on the action sort of action game, I guess, the sort of urban action game. I don't have a lot of high hopes for it, to be honest. I am excited to see what comes of it, but the trailer itself was a little janky, a little weird. There was an awkward transition between the real footage and sort of the in-game footage, which made the in-game footage look terrible. By comparison.
The faces in particular on the bad guys looked.
Yeah, it looked really, really bad.
It looked like somebody took an Xbox Vision camera and took a picture and then tried to map that onto a face. Like that's kind of what it came off. It
was really, really bad. And at first, when they showed the live action footage, I was thinking I didn't realize it was live action because it was flat enough that you could say, oh, maybe that's like, that's like Detroit Become Human level realism, right? But then when they shoot to the actual game footage, or what I assume is the game footage, it was very, very jarring. I'm curious to see what they will be able to do with this mechanic. It seems as though the protagonist it just can't hear, but it's almost like a Daredevil type of thing, where instead of you can't see, you can't hear, and therefore all your other senses are heightened, which could be very dumb, and probably will be. But it is something that I'm at least interested in, I guess I should say.
Are we going to get A Quiet Place of a video game, and there's just going to be no audio at all, and it'll just be
I was kind of thinking that, like, how do you even make that work? I don't know. Maybe they force you to put in headphones, and then you just have to turn your headphones off, and then everything is quiet from that point forward. I don't know.
It sounded like I heard at one point, I heard a little bit of like ringing, like tinnitus type ringing, which I'm used to, but that was something that just kind of was. I don't understand how it works. And they said that more was coming in August.
I didn't hear any ring.
I don't know. Well, I hear it all the time. So, considering where we were at in the show,
I was going to say,
why do you need to wait till August? Ryan, go for it.
Well, I was going to say with this game, I thought it was Avengers briefly because they showed like crystallization. I was like, oh, is this Crystal Dynamics? Because they're the ones who are making that Avengers game. And then they showed Manhattan, and then they showed a guy with a hoodie, and I'm like, is this like a Watch Dogs ripoff? Kind of, it had that kind of feel to it. And I'm like, this immediately lost my interest as soon as I realized it wasn't the Avengers game that, I was hoping they'd be there at the show. So
yeah. So I at first I was thinking, oh, is this another Mirror's Edge? When they started breaking the glass, I thought that might have been that. But that one, the last one, was also not as well received as the initial one. I don't know. We'll have to see. More to come in August. And then we get to see the gem in the Square Enix presentation, the game that everyone's been waiting for years and years and years. We get Kingdom Hearts 3, and we get the same trailer that we got yesterday. Josh, I know your hopes were that we would get some additional worlds or something. Tell me where you're at right now.
Just frustrated. I wanted to see the thing that I've been wanting the whole press conference, all these press conferences, is to see Big Hero 6, what is it, San Francisco? I think that's the name of it.
Mhm.
Whatever,
Yep.
that world, and have Baymax and have that world that you can play in. That's what I've been wanting, but they didn't show anything else. I mean, it's the same trailer. Talk about Roxas inside my own heart or whatever. Yeah. Didn't really impress me. Kind of a bummer.
I mean, we talked about it yesterday, and our tone was very different yesterday, and it was this that is how they ended their show. They gave their little sizzle reel, and at that moment, I'm like, are they going to do one more thing? Are they going to drop something on us? And they didn't. And I think we were all kind of dumbfounded in the moment that this was it. So I want to get your guys' thoughts as to why Square Enix needed to even be here for this.
They didn't need to be, and what was made them even more frustrating at the end was I remember the announcer. I can't remember his name. The guy from the very beginning. He specifically said, "Be sure to stick around and watch till the very end." Like he went out of his way to say that.
Yeah, Keith David.
Well, no, the Matsuda,
Captain
was it?
Anderson. Oh, that guy. Yeah, whatever.
the guy from
I was like, his
Pitch
name was Keith
Yeah.
David. That seems.
That's so weird.
I don't want to sound racist, but that seems like it's not his name.
Black. But yeah, I just I don't know. Like half the stuff was already shown on the Xbox One. Like if they would have held this stuff back, I think that would have been okay. But if this had come before Microsoft's, maybe we are talking differently about it. I mean, most likely we're talking differently about it. And B, I don't think Microsoft shows the stuff then.
Yeah, I'm jumping in here. So that's these companies need to realize that their presentation does not exist in a bubble. You're not like there's nobody coming to E3 to watch the Square Enix presentation and nothing else. Like Colleen has watched. She's a casual gamer at best. She has watched every presentation from start to finish with me. Even through Bethesda, which is a lot of stuff that we don't typically play. We watched all of these together. She got up and left in the middle of this. Life is Strange. No, Captain Underpants, whatever that game is, the free one. I'm not trying to shit on your game, Ryan. I know you were excited for it. I just can't remember the name. That came on, and she said, "I've seen all these trailers. I watched them yesterday. I'm not staying for this." And she got up and left. They showed 10 games. 5 of them were shown yesterday at Microsoft. 2 of the ones that were not shown at Microsoft were Dragon Quest XI, which is already out, and Octopath Traveler, which Nintendo's would have mentioned tomorrow. I almost guarantee they don't now. That's 7
really?
games. I wouldn't. Why would you?
That's a good point. Just a reminder that it's coming. Maybe
It's 45 minutes. You got to put some games in there.
Yeah. So there were 7 games, 7 out of 10 games that we already knew about. The 3 that we didn't know about: A Quiet Man, which was a real life, a real action trailer followed by janky.
It was a
cinematics.
teaser. It was a teaser for an actual reveal.
Right. Yeah.
At
exactly.
E3.
Yeah.
At E3.
And the other 2 that we hadn't that
Babylon.
were unknown. Yeah, Babylon's Fall, which is why that was the highlight for me. Oh, and then the MMO Final Fantasy 14 and Monster Hunter World. You came on stage at E3. You spent a half an hour to show us 3 games, one of which is an expansion for your MMO. Another one is, and then the other 2 essentially are teasers for games that just showed us nothing. This was a complete waste of time, a major letdown. Square Enix definitely missed the mark on this, and they need to realize that this is exactly the argument I made for EA, where EA doesn't need to be there because their games could make the other conferences stronger. Well, Square Enix's games made Microsoft's conference stronger yesterday. It was good seeing them there. It strengthened that one. To come out and show us the exact same things again today is insulting. I will probably never watch a Square Enix fucking press conference again. They're in the Devolver Digital bin now. It was what a waste of my time
for slightly different reasons, but
yeah.
I follow. Yeah,
but like to come like this was they came out and they said your time doesn't matter to us. Here's 5 things you saw yesterday, to the point that they're the exact fucking same trailers. Here's 2 other games that you already knew were coming. And here's 3 things that aren't even really announcements. They're fucking anti-announcements. What a joke Monday has started to be for E3. I hope Ubisoft is better. I fear that it won't be.
Where's my Avengers? That's what I'm going to say. That's all I want to say.
So that was the big thing. Avengers got teased last spring. Now would have been the perfect time to talk Avengers because Infinity War just came out. Avengers 4 is inevitably coming next year, I believe, and so now would have been the great time for that. Where was it? We didn't even get a Metroid Prime 4 reveal, which technically they already did, but you could have given us a cinematic. Just remind us it's still coming.
Just so like a beam of light going down on a shield on someone's back, walking in the distance, something. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or like have them like in the background of all these other games. Like that would have been funny. I don't know. But yeah, Ryan, I want to get, where are you at? I know you were super hyped for Avengers. Like,
yeah, that was the most deflating part when we got to Kingdom Hearts 3, and they're like, thanks for tuning in. And it's gonna be, I'm gonna repeat the same thing P1 said here about, it's like EA, there's no need for to be there. Now this was probably a much cheaper show for them to run because it was just a video. It was very much a direct.
Right. There was no stage. There was no fan event.
Stage. Yeah. There's no audience to boo or cheer or anything. It was just a straight video of their highlight reel. But it's one of those cases where you already showed off your games, half of them already. I imagine. You could have had the 2 games that were for PlayStation on PlayStation show. So, and the one, it's the Square Enix thinking they're bigger than they are. And it's really deflating because it seems like they are doubling down on franchises that I don't think people are as the most hype for those games coming from them right now. I don't think there is a major hype for a Just Cause 4 right now at the moment. Or maybe there's probably some for Shadow of the Tomb Raider because I know it has this fan bases, its fan base, but I don't think the hype for that is as high as it is for something like a Final Fantasy VII or an Avengers or something else that they might have announced, basically. So I don't know, it's one of those. It was really deflating. Now I'm not giving up on Square Enix for their pressers in the future, unlike P1. Because in years past, they have done stuff like it surprised me with like Nier Automata. When that got announced, that was kind of a thing where it's like, oh, this is really cool. And that was right after we just got done playing it for the club. So it's one of those things where it's like they can do good. It's just a matter of I guess if they do it correctly. It was just a really overall deflating moment for
yeah.
I want to jump back in.
Okay.
5 of these games were shown on Xbox. Of the ones that weren't shown, 2 of them were PlayStation exclusives. You give those to the PlayStation show. Sony shows those. So now Sony's not coming out and sitting on a sofa and jacking each other off for 4 games for an hour and a half. They're going to have extra games they can show Sony exclusives, but now they're not going to. Sony's not going to show those games because Square Enix showed them. Those 2 games, Quiet Place and Babylon Fall, those make the Sony show better. They don't. This was it was a miss. It was an
absolute swing and a miss. Yeah.
We might have to edit out that masturbation.
Hey, that's you got to own that, man. There's not a whole lot I can do with that. There was no Final Fantasy VII remake talk at all. There was no mainline Final Fantasy stuff. Period. They didn't talk about 15 and maybe continued future plans for it. I think maybe Switch reveal tomorrow gets like, if stuff shows up that they could have shown here on these remaining shows, it's going to make this look even worse. Total bummer. I suppose today can only get better. But it kind of deflates a little bit of what yesterday, which was so strong.
The funny thing is, I was more excited for this show than Ubisoft and I guess Limited Runs, way more than PC, that's for sure. But this was probably one of the moments I was really looking forward to this morning. I was like, all right, we got some things that if they happen, awesome, this can be great. And none of them happened. So
yeah. So we do have, like I said, unless do you guys have any final thoughts about what we just went through here, or do you guys want to look ahead to the future?
To the future.
So this afternoon we have a lot more coming. We have the Ubisoft press conference is at I believe that's at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then prior to that there is a limited run E3 video that they're showing. That's happening at 3 p.m. Eastern. We will plan to talk about that at some point. I think we'll find whether it fits better time-wise into the Ubisoft show or the PC showcase, because we're going to do that one as well. We'll kind of play that by ear, but we will talk about both. They are relevant, and they certainly are. It sounds like I saw a tweet from the Limited Run guys earlier. It seems like they're a little nervous that the jokes that they make might not come off as well, which makes me nervous because Devolver Digital, can do what they do, and if those play to a certain audience, I would think Limited Run probably does too. But back to the important piece. Let's talk Ubisoft. Let's get either predictions or hopes. I want 2 from each, and I'm going to lead this one off. I think we get actual gameplay for Beyond Good and Evil 2. For the first time, we actually get gameplay and not just another trailer. Josh, prediction or hope?
Okay, prediction. Final trailer, black screen. You hear, and you see the Splinter Cell lights. Splinter Cell coming 2019. That's it.
I like it. The three night vision lights. Yeah, that's pretty cool. P1.
How can this guy sneak around with the noisiest headset that has lights on it all the time?
Well, his ears are really close to it, so you're hearing it through him, right?
Yeah. My prediction. I'm going to go directly against your prediction, Musty. I don't think they even say Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Ooh. Okay. Ryan, how about you?
We're going to get a really long demonstration of Assassin's Creed.
Okay. Caleb?
I am going to say kind of halfway in between, I guess, Musty and P1. We are going to see Beyond Good and Evil. In fact, I think they directly from the publishers, there's an article I was reading earlier that said that they do plan on showcasing quite a bit of it during E3. However, my prediction is that it will be a disappointment for most people. Most people will not get what they want out of it. So
okay. Then my other, let's see. I'm gonna go with. Oh, I don't want to do that one. I think your Assassin's Creed demo is going to feature a moment where he throws his hat at somebody, since it is called Odyssey.
I get it.
Josh, your last prediction or hope?
Oh, I was unmuted already. Let's see. So it's a prediction or a hope, doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so I'm going to say it's going to be a Prince of Persia sequel for that 2008 cel-shaded one. So sequel to that game.
Okay. P1.
I'm going to steal mine. I think it was kind of funny. I got it from there, but I'm going to steal from there. This will be the first year that Just Dance doesn't go to the Wii.
That's good.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Yeah.
Nice. Ryan.
I think Aisha Tyler's going to be the host again. Make P1 really happy.
And Caleb, why don't you wrap us up here with these predictions?
I think my prediction will be that there will be some sort of mobile element to the Assassin's Creed Odyssey game. I know that sounds like a long shot, but okay. I'm going to guess it.
I want full VR capability. I want to be able to kick people off of ledges.
So far we've had a mobile presentation. We've had a mobile presence in every single press conference thus far. Maybe Ubisoft continues the trend because PC certainly won't. Limited run games won't either. So maybe we see more of that. Excellent. Well, then I think we had a nice short way to start the day. So again, this ran a little bit shorter just because of lack of content. Before we go, I do want to again do a quick mention of one of our community podcasts is having a very special episode. So the Polykill podcast will be celebrating their 69th episode with a live show Thursday, June 14th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch. And so if If you're familiar with the show, be ready for all of the usual shtick and poorly harmonized transitions, devolved humor, misinformed hot takes, and community polykills. A lot of those things are things that we just did over the last 45 minutes. So if you like us, you'll probably like them too. Expect plenty of post-E3 sass, mockery, and excitement. Again, that's Polykill live Thursday on Twitch at twitch.tv/polykillpodcast. So come ready to participate and have a good time. But before we go, I want to give everyone a chance to make sure that they know where to find you, wherever you may be. So let us start with Caleb. Where can we find you?
I am everywhere online with the name Caleb J. Ross, CALEB, the letter J, ROSS, all one word. I am most active on Twitter and YouTube.
Excellent. Josh, where can we find you?
Do a weekly solo podcast, Frantic Thoughts, and you can find me on Twitter at Frantic Society.
Okay, Ryan.
Twitter, it's Rocket Sauce.
Okay. And P1.
I have a Twitter account. Hey, look, it's recent. It's at Cartridge Bros. That was a bad joke.
It was a good attempt.
From a bad trailer.
Yeah, well, we all have bad trailers sometimes. You can find me, as always, at Musty Hobbit on Twitter, most prominently, and then on my YouTube channel, Second Breakfast. But we're going to go ahead and wrap there. Thank you for joining us as we broke down what we actually got out of the SquareEnix presentation. We look forward to having you back. We'll be on immediately following the Ubisoft press conference, and we will be talking about everything we get out of them. Time permitting, we may do the limited run talk at that point. If not, that will blend in with the PC showcase, which happens again later on today. Today is a very packed day, so we are looking forward to having you with us all the way through to the end of the Sony show, which is bound to be action-packed if you like furniture. So I will try to be nice between now and then. But we're looking forward to all of you joining us here. So thank you all for coming by. Again, panel, I want to say have a nice day and
goodbye. See you later. See you in an hour.
Yeah, see you in an hour or two. We'll see you guys.